Merry Christmas, everyone. At this point, I don't know how you're feeling about Christmassy, and I'm wearing pajamas for everyone who couldn't wear pajamas, and for everyone who could wear pajamas, irrespective of anything. I think Christmas is about, it's safe for us to say it's like a PJ kind of day, and I hope you're wearing pajamas whether you are with family or you're far away from family, irrespective. One of the most lovely pajama set that I like to see are like two friends who come together and just, make themselves happy. But yeah, enough about the pajamas, which I'll be talking about a lot. But let's talk about who is this person and what am I up to. So my name is Victoria Bakari. You can call me VB, and I'm basically here to answer to God's call. Yeah, I will be taking us on a journey, and the platform is Buildpowerhouse. Buildpowerhouse stems from an instruction from the Lord about wanting an avenue to help us discuss everything that has to do with relationship and marriages, and marriage to be specific, because we don't have multiple marriage, we have just one, and also to talk about how this would grow into family, the dynamics and all the good stuff. Basically that is quite interesting, and this is the very first episode. This entire vision is not far-fetched. In fact, when I shared with some of my closest friends, it's almost as though this is quite expected. It's not something that caught them unexpected, if that makes sense. You know that thingy where your friends are like, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, we were expecting it, like, really. But yeah, I can't say I wasn't expecting it, but I just didn't know where. For you guys that are new to seeing my face on YouTube, I'm a software engineer, and I have a totally different YouTube channel for that, and where I talk about career and all the other good stuff, schooling, learning, and life in the UK, basically. I'm here to talk about relationships, and I'm going to be starting with the first one. So there's this story, or something very kind of upsetting, if I can't find a better way to present it, and is where a certain way whereby you see two people that you can clearly tell are not equal in their union coming together to form marriage. How do you, like, what am I talking about? Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. A story whereby there's this lady, she got it right, in the sense that you can clearly see the hand of God over her lives. Career-wise, she's thriving, everything is working together for her good. In fact, her friends are like, go girl, we're cheering you on, you're such an inspiration. Before anything, she's let's just use an example. She's been flying around the world, she's been, she's just killing it, making all the sense in the world. And then she meets this guy who clearly is not on a level. And when I say level, don't get me wrong, if I say level and you're thinking financial, then you are mostly wrong, because that's a shallow way of thinking about humanity. But when I say shallow, when I say not on the same level, I'm talking about emotionally, spiritually, physically. This person is more matured, better grown, better groomed, more sacrificial than the other person. And then they decided that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And that's not only the problem. The problem is that they've not even asked God, is this the person I'm meant to spend the rest of my life with? And I hear some of you are like, how do you ask God that kind of question? But how can you not ask God for the next 50 years of your life? So I'm assuming many people get married, start thinking of marriage like late 20s to 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe. Let's just assume you get married at 30. If you're going to be with this person and you're hoping to grow old, like we all are, so you're talking 50 years of your life with one person. And I see a theme that the Lord has kind of made me see, whereby the lady now decides to become a puppet, for lack of a better word. So basically, this guy doesn't like you. everybody can see he doesn't. This guy doesn't like you at all, at all. He doesn't like you. He treats you like you don't matter, and then you're trying so hard to make it work in your own power, meaning you've not even let go and let God. So basically, I think you are the only one in the relationship. You are forcing yourself on someone that doesn't like you. And let me tell you the most painful part of human nature. The other guy as well, who clearly is insecure, would then treat the lady with so much disdain, and instead of having the fear of God, he literally treats her with so much disdain. And basically what is happening is a psychological, flipping of things. It's called gaslighting in a way, where it makes the lady think that you are so lucky to have me, I'm the catch, and yada 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 whatsoever. And it feeds his ego off from wanting and asking and all of that. And I see this phenomenon and I'm like, this is not a husband. Yeah. And this is really important, because I was just talking to a friend of mine recently, and this is a phenomenon we've seen a lot. And in the past, I've had friends who would not speak up because they're scared of telling you the truth about that person you're partnered with, and they're thinking, one day God will touch you, or they're just doing silent prayer for you, and they're not really telling you their mind. And then guess what? When you break up with that person, they're like, oh, finally, we don't know what you were doing with the guy. And then you're like, why didn't you say something? But it's basically because they don't want to be labeled bad. So yeah, VB is here to tell you that get out of that relationship, basically. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I'm that girl, I'm that whatever the voice of reasoning. And I'm going to back it up with what the word of the Lord said. When I was studying this, he took me through the word in Genesis chapter 1. You can go and read after verse 27 to 28. How God made man and made woman. He made them male and female. He made mankind. That was like the umbrella of everything. And he gave them the mandate of dominion, and the mandate of dominion was to both male and female. So there wasn't only the man is important and only the woman is important, the man is not important. Before God, there's no male and female, especially in the New Testament. So basically, the mandate is literally telling you that I'm sending both of you to go and dominate the earth. This beautiful creature that God had created, God is expecting us to do the best that we can do with it. Yeah, it was beautiful. God saw that it was beautiful. Then in chapter 3, there was a fall. I'm talking Genesis 3 now. There was a fall, and then after the fall, there was a curse that was accrued to the woman. And the curse was that your desire will be to your husband. And a lot of people have turned this into culture. When I went further in doing my research about desire, this word desire is also an Hebrew word that was also used in relation to Cain, when the Lord was speaking to Cain and he was telling him that sin is encroaching at your door and it desires that desire. That's the same thing that was said to Eve. So this is not a desire that is like, oh my gosh, she's in love. No, it's a desire that is messy, that is embarrassing, that you shouldn't be found doing. It's a desire that comes from the fallen nature of man, and that shouldn't be the case. But guess what? Jesus has come to die for you. So why are you still groveling on the floor? Why are you trying to end your life with someone who you'd wake up to see? Yeah, one of my biggest fear before, I have no fear again, I was always wondering, how do you wake up to someone for the next 50 years of your life? Cap it at 50. I'm just saying it might be more than that, God willing, and you don't get bored and tired of that person. I'm like, this is messed up. I don't even know how to go about it. And yeah, over time I'll share some of my background experiences with marriage, and which is exactly one of the things that is fueling this. And it's not about how spiritual or unspiritual you are, it's just about how obedient you are to the Lord. So one of the most basic thing you can do for yourself is to be sure that the Lord is leading you with this person, and the other person as well is sure Don't be the only one being sure. Don't be the, oh, God told me you're my husband. Oh, God told me you're my wife. No, don't do that. Make sure that both of you are on the same page. Both of you are agreed. The Bible says that can two walk together except they agree. I know you're like, oh, so much about Bible. Of course. So I've come to admonish you that it's not all straightforward. You can't really understand, oh, why am I single? Some people are like God's own very children and they're doing everything that they think they should be doing, and that doesn't cut anything. You're not being a good person just because you what's the word now? Obedient to God in a way. Like your righteousness, the goal of your righteousness is not to get married. Do you see what I mean? Some people are like, I've been a good person, why are all the bad girls getting married? Are you in the marriage? Is it your marriage? Also, God lets the sun and the moon and the rain in his infinite mercy and justice to fall on both the good and evil. So if, thank God man is not God, because if you were God, you will literally not let the sun shine on everyone. So don't think like that. Don't think your righteousness is what should give you the best spouse. Use your wisdom. Use the wisdom that the Lord has given you. Use your brain. Don't just say, oh, anything that comes, I'm going to take it. Are you a dustbin? You're not a dustbin. And I need you to... I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is easier said than done. I believe you. And I really, really, really carry your heart. But at the same time, I think there are certain, we've seen things in this other side of marriage, and we can tell when people have it good and we can tell when people have it bad. And the painful thing is that after the wedding and the spraying of money and the yada yada, it's quite embarrassing to come back and say, okay, I'm not in this again. And then you see people asking questions, what's going on? And then people come around and say, oh, please mind your business. They're dealing with it. Okay, when they were getting married, it was everybody's business. So now people are like, what is going on? And to be honest, sometimes it's not your business, but other times people are like concerned, genuinely. But the point is, if you at any point just sit down and think about it, and you feel like you're making a mistake, you're probably making a mistake. It's that simple. Is that tough to digest? If you just sit down and say, okay, do I want to spend the rest of my year with this person? You should probably not do it. There's always that fear of, if I let go of this, will this come? If you trust God, He would come through for you. So basically, I want you to know that sense of wanting always to be coupled up might not be stemming from a good place at all. It's from course. I'm telling you, because as a single person, one of the major things you should be doing is understanding your identity, is to be sure of who God has called you to be. Your identity shouldn't be based off of ever-changing things. For instance, you're once in, I don't know, Ghana, and now you're in the UK, or you were once in Malawi, and now you're in America. Those are changing things. Those are not your identity. Your identity, your true identity should be in God. It should be an identity that doesn't change irrespective of situation. So, back again to Genesis chapter 1, when God was going to make Eve, He literally took her from the ribs of Adam. Our first exposure to identity is God. Adam was first made, and then Eve was made. But the first experience of a relationship they'll have is with God. Because God then took Eve to Adam, and Adam saw Eve and said, this is now the bone of my bones. So before then, there was a relationship of knowing. You'd notice that when the serpent was going to come to tempt Eve, he went and said, did God say? Did God really, really say? So meaning that Eve also knew what God was saying. So it wasn't a matter of, oh, Adam told me that God said. The serpent would have said, did God really say to Adam that you shouldn't? So you should know God for yourself. And I'm going to wrap up this podcast. And if anybody has any question, you can head off to buildpowerhouse.com, ask me anything button, and I would cover that in the next episode. But basically, what I'm saying is that do not settle. Just because you want to wear these pajamas, I'm putting one on. I don't need a partner to put it on. You can put on a pajamas on Christmas Day and be happy. Snap with the Christmas tree. Be excited. You don't need. Some people partnered up and they're crying every day. I promise you, you don't want to know. You honestly don't want to experience it. There are people that are like, I just want to get married. We'll take care of that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I beg you in the name of God. There are so many people that are crying to the Lord, and the Lord's art is what I'm bringing to you. Don't partner with people that are not equally yoked as you are. You can tell that you're a child of God, and I'm also talking to the men as well. You can tell that you're a man of God, you love God, but you're more interested in the back and forth. The girl is big, or you're more interested in her height, or you can't date 6 feet babes, and there's this 6 feet gorgeous girl that God is saying is the one, and you're like, what am I going to be doing with her? How do I speak to her? My brother, you don't want to know. You don't want to know the half of it. So again, coming from this, I don't know, about 10 years experience, not yet 10, but and the word of God is the same year after year. The years of experience I have in marriage, my God, one day I will unpack it. And when I unpack it, you guys will have a background story as to how much I'm interested and how much I know about marriage. And so basically, it all stems from my background. My dad, my mom, their marriage and all of that. And when I have a release, I'll discuss all of that. But the point is that don't make a mistake. It's better not to make a mistake than try to correct a mistake. So I'm speaking to everyone that has the privilege to still be single. Don't hate your singlehood. Rather turn up for yourself. Create good communities, good memories. Go to church. And in church, it doesn't mean everybody is good. But that's not your business, really. Your business is to serve God, right? Get into a service unit. Serve God wholeheartedly and let Him settle the rest of your life. Also, it's also a time for spiritual, what do they call it now? Grooming. There are things in your spiritual realm that you should know about yourself that needs to be cleaned up. There are things in your soul realm that needs to be undone and unpacked. There are therapy you need to go through with God or with a therapist, or with your pastor, or with someone that knows better. But my point is, do the work now, so that when you become the refined version of you, you can then attract the right person, and not someone that everyone knows around you that you deserve better. And it's not pride. I think it's actually pride that you think you should partner and hook up with someone that is not responsible towards God. Yeah, because you're proud. Who do you think you are? Why do you think that you have the right to choose someone that is less than? Why? Because sometimes it's appalling. We can see, we can tell, it's just obvious. So stop it. Trust God for the right person. Be patient, ignore the years. See, it's better to get it right the first time than to just go ahead and not care about what anybody's thinking, and then you then go ahead and then get partnered with the wrong person. So I've gone on and on about this, but I feel like there's a cry that is reaching heaven, and God is like, I'm still working on you, girl. I'm still working on you, man. I'm still working on you, and let Him do His finished work. Let Him continue to refine you. Let Him continue to work upon your heart. Let Him continue to work in your soul, spirit, and body. Don't just stay there and be open for a partner. Sometimes that desire that we talked about in chapter 1 could be because you are constantly searching for something that is missing, and like I said, only God can fill that void. Until next time, till I see you in the next episode, let me know what you think in the comment section. Have you ever seen a couple and you just know that, oh my God, this is such a mismatch? But we don't say such. It's not your business. Also, if you're in that situation, we will cover that part later on when you're unequally yoked. But yeah, keep it clean, keep it coming, and we can just wrap this up here. So Merry Christmas again. I hope you're excited for the future, the 2026 year. I'm really excited. I've waited for this, and this is just the right time for it. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you're expecting from this podcast. Let me know the kind of content you're looking forward to. I can't promise you that, but I know that all of your questions regarding relationships and marriages will be answered through the Lord, through me. That I'm very, very certain of. And again, I remain your ever-present host, VB, and I hope to see you next week, when by the grace of God I'm going to release another episode. But let's see how it goes, and see you again. Bye.